The Joe Rogan Experience.
I mean, if they're going to make phone calls, they're going to, take out Don Lemon or something because he talks shit about Trump. They're not going to, you know what I mean?
I guess so. Yeah, maybe
it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I'd always like to know what happened.
UFOs are openly discredited by normal people.
Well, not entirely, though.
Them.
Half the world believes. If you look at the work of Ralph Blumenthal and Leslie Keane, New York Times reporters, they're credibly reporting this stuff. Barney and Betty Hill, the state of New Hampshire, has certified their experience with a plaque. You can go to the place where they were allegedly abducted, and the state of New Hampshire has UFO incident right there.
We both know that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean it happened. Because
it means it's a state certified or state recognized paranormal experience.
Sure. You can get anything certified in New Hampshire. That's a goofy place.
Well, I don't know.
Shout out to New Hampshire. But
Adam Sandler comes from there. That's he's definitely a national treasure.
Yeah.
There it is.
Betty and Barney Hill incident.
Isn't that great? I mean, wow! Like a state certified, and also another state certified
61.
paranormal. 61. Right.
It was
61.
right around the time. That was a couple months before Kennedy was shot. Right? Wasn't he shot in November?
63. For him, right?
Yeah. Oh, was it 63?
Yeah, 63,
That's
and that
right.
wasn't 47. Yeah, but there you go. There you
New
go.
Hampshire,
So
couple
look at
Betty
that.
and Barney Hill experienced a close encounter with an unidentified flying
And then in
object
Marfa,
2
Texas,
hours
you heard of the Marfa Lights?
No, I have not heard of that.
The Marfa Lights are these anomalous, and that's a state kind of recognized paranormal mystery too. Mysterious Marfa Lights. They have a kind of a picnic area where you can watch them at night. No one knows what they are. They appear every night, and they bounce around on the horizon. They go up and down and back and forth. People say, they're headlights from different cars on the highway, but the Air Force, the state police, they've all tried to figure out what they are, and they just don't know what the Marfa Lights are. And they're recognized by the state of Texas as a paranormal event. But I like your skeptical view. Yes, I do.
Yeah, ball lightning is a real thing that's created by pressure inside the tectonic plates.
But every night, consistently going back and forth in symmetrical patterns.
But I mean, every night, can we go there tonight and go film it?
Yes, we could.
100%.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yep. Marfa Lights.
How many videos of the Marfa Lights are available?
Go ahead. Marfa,
there's
Texas,
a lot of them? Let me see some.
There they are.
Let me see what we got here. Whoa. What do we got here?
Yeah, no one knows.
That's rednecks. They're driving their trucks over the hill.
Well, that's what they say in the Air Force and the police.
Lights.
They've looked in there. They've done surveys. They've done geodetic surveys. What is it? Is it gas? Is it what?
What do they think it is? What's the official explanation?
No one knows. Mystery Lights. The state of Texas has a little plaque, the Marfa Mystery Lights. Enjoy them because they're there. They're going to be there tonight. 6 p.m. to 2 in the morning.
Really? Mm-hmm. Every night?
Every night.
I'm going to get a place out there.
Every night.
Smoke weed and stare at the sky. Is there any UFO sightings that you think are nonsense? Is there any mainstream ones that you listen to and you're like, I'm not buying that one?
All the people that I've talked to that have had sightings and have had experiences seem very genuine. I don't know that I don't know anyone that's been blown out publicly that I would doubt. I mean, can you think of one? I don't know. I believe the Allagash boys, Calvin Parker down there in Mississippi, the Pascagoula Incident. I mean, again, their lives were severely negatively affected by these experiences.
Right, but they didn't know whether or not that was going to be the case when they reported on it. A lot of people do silly things that negatively affect their life.
Yeah,
and they're not aware. They're not future tellers.
There's a guy there. He says that the alien appeared at his back screen porch door. He's in Colorado. Do you know that gentleman? He says that
you're balls deep in this, man. You know all these stories.
This guy, I don't know if I believe him because Colorado alien at the back door. I don't know.
Doesn't seem right.
I don't know if I believe him or not. It just like he was fabricating there. That guy.
I'm sure there's a lot of people fabricating things, and I'm also sure there's a lot of people that believe they're telling a true story, but in fact are schizophrenic or they have some issues. Or I think there's a lot of that going on.
Billy
too.
Meyer was doubted for many years.
I know
what do you think about him? The pictures are so vivid, and the Pleiadian story is so vivid. I mean,
a book.
Billy Meyer. You can put Billy Meyer UFO photos.
Where's he
there.
from?
He's Swiss. He was a Swiss.
Yeah, we have his book. That was that.
I know.
Somebody came to the Comedy Store and gave me this book on that guy.
The big pictures on that. Yeah,
but isn't that widely proven that guy's full of shit?
Well, look at the one by the pine tree. They're going, oh, he attached the saucer to the pine tree.
I heard he threw it in the air and took a picture of it.
Okay, well, that's one theory, but wasn't it, didn't they do that just to show the scale of their ship? And some of those photos are pretty convincing. I don't know. And Okay, if you want to say
one
doubt.
guy who keeps taking awesome pictures of UFOs, I'm not buying it.
Well, again, if there was anyone that I had doubt, because so much doubt has been thrown his way, that's pretty. I mean, how do you? Well, I suppose with Photoshop, but Bruce Maccabee, I believe, Bruce Maccabee's analyzed these. He wrote this book. He says they're real.
Right, but a guy who's writing a book on UFOs is analyzing UFO pictures, saying they're real. This guy wants to
Bruce
believe.
Maccabee is a doctor, and he's a science. He worked for the Naval Air.
I want to talk to his ex-girlfriends, see if he's full of shit. So you know what I'm saying? Like you could say all these positive things about people.
He worked for the Navy.
Look at that one.
He's the expert. Well, he's the expert. He said
that's the Gucci version.
Yeah, look at those balls. What
that's
are
a
they?
bling bling.
Those are the pinballs.
If you had an Instagram account and you were an alien, that's the one you'd.
But
rock.
I think he did a photo. He did a photo analysis, and he said that Bruce believes they're real, and I believe Bruce. If you read this book here, he's the real thing. Like what Stanton was the real thing, Bruce Maccabee's the real thing, because they're scientists who are doing very very thorough and close inquiry on the matter. So if you ask me who I doubt, maybe I don't know, Billy Meyer. I don't know.
Yeah, he took too many.
Yeah.
If you had like 3.
It's like a glut. It's like too much chocolate.
Yeah, come on, bro. That's all you're doing? You're out there and they just come to you? Why don't you set up a camera crew 24/7 for a couple of weeks? And
Well, Stephen Greer uses lasers. He points them up to the sky and kind of attracts them that way. Yeah. He and his wife and daughters have said that if, they've sat out and watched these things come and go in North Carolina at their house.
But people saying that something happened and something
how about all the photos?
Happened. But his thing is about UFOs. He's made documentaries about UFOs. His business is he knows a lot about UFOs.
What do you want?
I've talked to Greer. Yeah. I'm not buying it.
What you want is you want the Herb Shermer story.
What's the Herb Shermer story?
Nebraska highway patrolman on patrol, sees a flash of light in the Ashland oil refinery near Nebraska. Flash of light in an oil refinery in the broad daylight, not a good thing, could be a fire. Goes up, not into UFOs, highway patrolman, goes up. He was taken into a ship and deposited. He's one of the famous ones. So no agenda there. Didn't want to tell a story.
Okay.
Again, got into trouble for him.
Here's the thing.
Herb Shermer. Shirmer.
No disrespect to Herb, but some cops are crooked. They steal people's money. Some cops rape people. Some cops pull people over for nothing. Some people shoot people for non-existent crimes. There's a lot of people that just happen to be police officers that are also full of shit.
A lot of people are full of shit. That's true. But again, here he is. He's a guy. Why would he say that?
Where's the evidence?
The other one is,
where's his evidence?
Well, his evidence is anecdotal, like a lot of it. But
that's a problem, right?
Well, the Phoenix Lights. There's video of that.
That's a different one. That's a different story.
Lonnie Zamora, Zamora. He was a New Mexico highway patrolman. He said a saucer landed, and he saw it land. And
Dan Aykroyd. Everybody wants to be special. And one of the best ways to be special is for you to have a special moment with some special creatures from a special place. And no one else can recognize whether or not you're telling the truth or not telling the truth. You talk about this, and everybody wants to listen. And they listen to you. They're totally fixated on everything you like to say.
Oh, how about Pervez Jafari? Pervez Jafari.
Well, I like the name.
Okay,
Who's Pervez Jafari?
He was an Iranian Air Force pilot. He still lives in Iran. He does many lectures. And he did the famous, it's the Iranian Tehran UFO sighting. He chased a UFO in his jet, and the thing turned off all the electronics in the jet, and he said this thing was moving. How about General de Breuer?
Well, how about David Fravor?
I don't know him.
He's the guy that they were talking about on the Bob Lazar documentary. He experienced something that flew exactly like the Lazar ones. I'm going to talk to him soon. And he incredibly credible. And, military accolades. He's a very well-respected guy, and he's never had any other fantastical sort of stories that he's told. I can't wait to talk to him about this.
Yeah, Pervez Jafari's a good guest, too. You should get him on. And then there's the guy who flew the Alaskan, the Japan Airlines flight with all the wine on it. And the UFOs above Alaska, it circled them several times. That's a famous story.
I'd like to get a bottle of that wine.
Yeah, that would be, yeah. So Alaska Airlines sighting, that's another one. So, no, but I like your view. You are not going to sit here and say, "Oh, it's all true. I'm accepting it all."
It's too easy. All I
give you here today, from my experience, is the ones that I believe, and that's Betty and Bertie Hill, Travis Walton, the Allagash Boys.
Yeah, Betty and Barney Hill are a really interesting one because also there wasn't a precedent Betty and Barney Hill in 1961, there wasn't a bunch of people that were talking about these things happening to them. And since then, there have been very many that were really similar, very similar, and it makes you wonder. Because this is what I want to say to people that are skeptical, and of course I'm skeptical. That's why I'm knocking holes in these things.
Yeah.
But if it did happen and you were left alone to try to explain to people something that is incredibly unique, very few people ever experience it. It would be so hard to get people to believe you.
Well, that's why you have to go to a
true.
professional. You go to a professional.
But even there's no such thing.
John
There's someone
Mack,
who can. Professional means you make money doing it. Means you studied it and you make money doing it. There's not a single fucking human being on this planet that's a professional explorer of other worlds, right? There's not a single person on this planet that is a professional expert on alien civilization and can tell you everything they need to know. I know more about French, about the French language, than anyone that's ever lived knows about alien civilizations, and I don't know shit about French. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I know it's a real place. I know France is a real place, and French is a real language, and I could say parlez-vous français. That's more than anybody can explain about any civilization on some other planet.
You got to take the credentials of the people who report these things, and I
do,
refer to
but
the
their credentials
Leslie
are
Kean's
entirely
book.
terrestrial.
They are. That's right. No, UFOs, generals, pilots, and on UFOs go on the record. That's Leslie Kean's book, and there's some pretty compelling stories.
Do you remember Arsenio Hall when he had that thing you would do, things that make you go
Hundreds in states see flying saucers. Indianapolis News. Anyway, this is a neat book by Bruce. I believe Bruce was the real thing. I believe Stanton is the real thing. And
J. Allen Hynek is one of the more interesting characters to me because
I love
ran
Project Blue Book. Yeah.
He ran Project Blue Book, and his directive was to debunk these stories. Whether or not they were credible, his directive was to say, that's a weather balloon, that's a star, this is swamp gas. That was his directive. But then when he left Project Blue Book, he said, listen, these things are real.
Yeah, 20% of sightings are unexplained. Yeah,
he said these things are real, and when you talk to a man like that who's living was in debunking these things, and then after it was all over, he was compelled to communicate with the American public that there was a real situation going on.
There is, and
he's really interesting to me.
And Ken Arnold, his sighting is pretty compelling.
Sure.
So I don't think they want to form a relationship with us. I think they're coming and going like taxis, and they have been since the beginning of the existence of life on this planet or the existence of this planet.
Do you think they engineered human beings?
Well, that Mission to Mars movie is one of NASA employees' favorite movies. I think maybe
what is
they
a
might
Mission to Mars movies? That's
a Mission to Mars. Tim Robbins, really good picture.
It's a doc. It's not a documentary.
It's a feature.
It's a feature.
Film. Yeah.
Mission to Mars.
Yeah.
What is it about?
It's about the mission to Mars and them discovering there was a civilization there, and that perhaps we were helped along in our development. Yeah.
What year was this around?
I'm not sure. Mission to Mars.
Really?